The Russian state has declared war on adoption. In Mordovia, Tatarstan, Chelyabinsk and partly Kursk region, as well as Crimea temporarily occupied by Russia, abortion in private clinics has been banned. Moreover, in Mordovia and the Tver regions, fines for so-called inducement to abortion were introduced. And in 4 other Russian regions, there are simply no private clinics with the appropriate license. Pregnancy termination there is possible only in state clinics, but before the procedure, patients are required to undergo special counseling, the purpose of which is to put psychological pressure on the woman.
The main arguments are that abortion is very, very bad for your health, your physical health. Women are told that there's a huge chance that they won't be able to give birth afterwards, but that's not true. They also intimidate with psychological consequences. It is believed in our exclusively Russian reality that there is such a thing as post-abortion syndrome. It is a kind of post-traumatic stress disorder that supposedly forms in women who have had an abortion, but again, this is not true.
The Russian parliament is following the regional authorities. Deputies are already discussing a ban on abortions in non-state clinics, and some even propose not to pay allowances for the first child if the mother is over 25 to 30 years old. According to the BBC Russian service, the State Duma also wants to extend the ban on inducing abortion in the whole country. This is an initiative of the head of the Russian Orthodox Church, Kirill Gundyaev. All of this supposedly has to help improve the demographic situation in Russia. Kremlin politicians are not prepared to announce the number of young men killed in the war against Ukraine. Therefore, they are rushing to make up other explanations of the crisis and options to solve it.
It is necessary to stop orienting girls towards higher education. This search for oneself drags on for many years and the childbearing function is lost. It is convenient to control the country using demography, and our enemies know that. Margarita Pavlova, senator of the Russian Federation Council from the Chelyabinsk region, from a speech at the Russian Economic Forum. The first child should be born at the age of 20, and I agree with that. Probably no one needs to be reminded that Soviet gynecology considered those who give birth at 27 as geriatric, so this is just medical history. Dmitry Vyatkin, deputy of the Russian State Duma, from a speech at the Russian Economic Forum.
Proposals to restrict certain rights for women were mentioned by representatives of the Federation's authorities long before Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine. Now, however, the rhetoric seems to be becoming commonplace. The Kremlin regularly appoints those responsible for all problems, and all the accumulated social discontent is being poured on them. It used to be migrants or the opposition. Now it is childless women who are to blame.
It seems like this is the line being drawn. This line is that we want to bring a barefoot pregnant woman back into the kitchen, obviously, so that she doesn't ask too many questions, so that, again, there would be no unnecessary appeals asking where husbands are, brothers, fathers, sons, and so on and so forth.
Wives of Russian mobilizers are increasingly expressing their indignation at the actions of the authorities. First of all, the woman demands that their husbands are being returned home. Meanwhile, the head of the State Duma Defense Committee, Andrei Kartopolov, said that there will be no rotation until the end of Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Danila Kobza, UATV News.